and we could see ourselves in a reflection of the TV. You see how that works?
Ain't that pretty?
Ain't we pretty?
No.
Ain't we some handsome little devils? All right.
Only anything little about us.
So welcome to Red and Gray Comics. We're starting off our live show for the Comic Book Shopping Network, hopefully. This show's for an audience of one. This is for Jesse James. So he could either approve or disapprove us. We hope you approve us, and we hope you like our show. All right. So this is Dave, and I'm Corey, a.k.a. Big Red. And we're Red and Gray. And we have together probably 60 years of comic book knowledge, I would think.
I was setting up at shows in 1982 at conventions, buying and selling back then.
And I've been personally collecting since 1974, 75, when I was just wee little Red. And now we're turning this hobby into a business, and he's picking up his business. So let's get started. What did you bring for the peeps?
Well, the first one I have is the, many years ago, Marvel decided that they would do stories that if it would be the last story of a character, what would the last story of a character be? And so, at the time, Dale Keown was coming off his run at Image with Pitt, and he did a one-shot of the Hulk with the writer Peter David. This was a one-shot, prestige format.
And what are you asking for that book?
I'm asking $25 for the book.
That's a nice book there. And the first book I got up to offer here is Green Arrow Series 2, although everybody calls it Series 1, but they had a mini-series before that. And this is actually Volume 2 in my eyes. The number one issue, the Mike Grill run, when he started off the beginning of the run. And I'm going to put $10 on that.
The next one I have is I'm a huge fan of Eric Powell and the Goon, and there was a one-shot with the character Goon in a book called The Lords of Misery Prelude, The Goon Theater Bazaar. I'm asking $10 for that book.
And next up that I have is Human Target Volume 2, Number 1. This is after the second showing of the TV show came out, because they had one with, if I'm not mistaken, Rick Springfield played Christopher Chance. And this is from when after the second TV series came out, which I thought the second TV series was way better than the first. And Christopher Chance has been on other TV shows recently. He was on The Arrow as a character. But I think this is like a $3 book.
My next one is Joseph Michael Linsner from Dawn's fame did a book, The Tears of Dawn, and did a signed limited edition of 2300, and it is The Tears of Dawn, and it's $100.
And next, I have Iron Man Volume 1, number 170. And this is when they unmasked Iron Man, and it was Rhodey. Wasn't it? Yeah.
It's your book, sir.
You know just as well as I do.
I don't want to ruin it for someone.
That's when James Rhodes was identified as Iron Man. And I think that's like a $10 book, maybe. I don't know.
My next one is the Spider-Man Deadpool number 1 variant cover, action figure variant, and I'm asking $8 for that one.
And, I'm presenting this book. It's Justice League of America number 0 from, I think this was from 2007, the Brad Metzler run. This is from Free Comic Book Day. And what I like about Free Comic Book Day and what I don't like about Free Comic Book Day is the same thing. You put the word free on anything and it will drive anybody. It's like you turn on a light and the roaches come out. It's everybody that normally doesn't show up to a comic shop shows up for something free. But anyway, this is I like Brad Metzler's writing. He writes other stuff besides comic books. He's an interesting guy. Had a TV show on for a while. But yeah, this book's like a $3 book.
My next one is the Spider-Man Deadpool number 11, guest starring the magical duo of Penn and Teller. I'm asking $4 for that book, which is just cover price.
Next up, I've got Justice Society of America number 1. This is the first appearance of Jesse Quick, who has been on The Flash TV show on the CW. Again, that's her first appearance, and I'm asking $10 for that book.
My next one, the classic artist Alex Nino actually came back and did another series, a book from Bliss Comics called Monster Candy, and I'm asking $12.50 for that book.
It's a nice looking book. And this is what happens when you shop without a list. For my son's personal collection, he's a big fan of the Losers, and for the longest time I shopped without a list. Anyway, this is one that got duplicated, but this is Andy Diggle and some early Jacques work, and I know all you guys go crazy over Jacques' artwork. Here's a book where he did the whole interior, not just covers. That's a $3 book.
Going back to some more Dawn special editions, I have the Volume 4 Winter 1991 cover, the Cry for Dawn, and it is $20.
I remember having that as a kid or a teenager.
Yeah, a little too adult for a kid.
Well, that's when I actually got out of comics, was when they started what I call the Cheesecake comics. Her and who else they had? She and Lady Death, Purgatory, all of it. And I was like, you know what? I don't need Cheesecake in my comics. But now, as an adult looking back at it, it had some good artwork and some fairly decent stories. Yeah. And then here I have Marvel Comics Presents number 76. I don't know. I'll have to take this open to see, because I know at one point Marvel Presents had 2 covers. This one didn't have a secondary cover. It just had a regular back cover. But the earlier issues of this had one cover on one side and another cover on the other side. But this one only has one cover. And this is where the Weapon X story, and if I'm not mistaken, where Animanium, where they put Animanium in Wolverine came from, was that storyline there, and that's a $5 book.
Barry Windsor Smith artwork.
Yeah, it's, I mean, knock it if you want, because it's not a main title. It's a Marvel Presents book, but they had some good storylines come out of there.
Another Dawn issue for sale today is the Dawn miniseries number 4. They did limited editions that were all variant covers and signed by Linsner. And this is a limited edition of, I don't remember how many copies.
I'm sure it says somewhere in the
I'm sure it does on the writing that I am too old and blind to read.
Next time we'll bring our reading testicles. And then next I have to offer is Nam, or The Nam, number 8, which is probably the only book in that series that's worth anything other than a $3 book. And this is because it's the first appearance of Tunnel Rat, and that's a $5 book. Everything else in that series is like a $3 book. But I mean, it's some good reading. I mean, if you want to read about Vietnam in comic book form, there you go.
And nobody other than Michael Golden does the weapons and vehicles as well as Russ Heath from back in the day. So it's tremendous artwork.
Yeah, it's real good
cartoon
artwork.
Characters to downplay the story with absolutely realistic weapons.
Yeah, it's real detailed on the vehicles and the weapons.
My next one is the issue that followed my last one, which is the number 5 of the miniseries, also signed by Linsner, and that too is $25. And the certificate says, if it's blue, you're pregnant. So another signed, limited edition copy.
Next thing up I have is Rise Zero, which, it's the cameo of Bloodshot. Bloodshot's got a movie coming up here. And don't get me started on cameo versus first appearances. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Like Hulk 181?
Yeah. Yeah, Hulk 181 is,
The Wolverine, but except he
Yeah.
was in the issue 180.
yeah, Hulk 180
Correct.
is the first appearance of Wolverine. Change my mind. You know, like the guy with the change my mind sign that sits in his
Stephen
parks.
Crowder.
Yes, sir.
Well, good for. These are just duplicates now.
Oh, that's just duplicates of things. Well, good. You can present some of my books here, or help me along.
Sure.
Here we go. Spider-Man 2099, number 1. It's not his first appearance, but it's his first ongoing series with the fancy dancy. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but it's got the fancy dancy foil cover, like everything did in the 90s, and it's like, what, an $8 book.
Artwork by Rick Leonardi, which was very good. He's did a lot of the early stuff for Cloak and Dagger.
Yep. Which is also now a TV show. I mean,
Exactly.
It's amazing that some of the B characters are getting their own TV shows now. I love it. Here is what I believe is one of the... It now seems like every week they're coming out with a True Believer or a facsimile edition, or DC calls it one thing, Marvel calls it one thing, or the Dollar Book series. This is Iron Man, True Believers, Iron Man Armor Wars number 1. When it first came out, it was a $1 book, and I think it appreciated up to a $3 book now. So there you have it. But like I said, it's one of the first times they started offering the $1 True Believer books. And then we have X-Force Volume 1, number 19, which a lot of people say it's the first appearance of Copycat.
But it's also early Greg Capullo artwork.
It's not, don't get me started on first appearances, because now, and it was confirmed by Liefeld himself, that Copycat was in, what was that, New Mutants 98, but she was posed as Domino. So this, and where a lot of people get confused, is this is where she's actually named as Copycat. And that's a $12 book. And then, like I said, don't get me started on first appearances, because here we have that whole prime example. I'm offering up Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, number 282 and 283, which is the cameo of Bishop and the first full appearance of Bishop. Well, in neither one of these, he's on both covers, and you can't see his full body on either cover. So I mean, come on, guys, first appearance or first cameo? Don't get me started. But anyway, people call this the first cameo. I believe that's like a $10 book, and then we've got the first full, which is about another $10 book.
Will's Portacio artwork.
Yep. Which I met him. He's a super nice guy.
Right before he went over and did his own
With
title,
this is
Image
like
with
all
artwork.
right. This is all before all the founders of Image left. They were all a bunch of Marvel geeks and artists, and you know, they got tired of not making money, so they started their own company. And you know, but I mean, out of the group, I'd have to say he's the nicest one. You know, between him and
Jim Lee.
well, Jim Lee's a nice guy, but he's a little less obtainable than some of the other ones. Because don't get me started on Rob Liefeld. First time I met him, nice guy. Second time, not so much. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed our show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully you got some good purchases there. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Again, this is only for an audience of one for Jesse. Jesse, please take it into consideration that we would like to be on your comic book shopping network on Facebook and do some live shows.
And we'll get better.
We'll get better, and we'll have more stands so we can place out more books, and we'll be more precise with our pricing, and we'll have
Have our timing down a little bit
we'll
better.
have our timing down way better, and we'll also have another one of these little handy dandy stands to where we can put our shipping prices and stuff like that, and you know, so the consumer will have more information. But I hope you like our personality. Again, I'm Corey, that's Dave for Red and Gray Comics.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.